Hey folks, this is Beatrice from Crafty Bee's Corner bringing you this video straight from my scrap bin. I am part of an awesome collab with a few other very talented crafters, which you can find their links below. We will release a monthly video about using up our scraps. So I'm showing you the container of scraps that lives right behind me. I've got a lot of scraps. These are the pictures that I will be scrapbooking, which was an Instagram picture. And it was the post that my daughter did when she finally was ready to tell the world that she was pregnant. So yes, I'm going to be a grandma for the first time. So these scraps have been on my desk for years, and there's all kinds of scraps. I have them more or less in color order, loosely. So I am picking scraps. Whatever I do not use will end up in the garbage. I really need to clear this basket out. So I will be using a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock, obviously as the base of my scrapbook page. And I struggle a little bit with this layout because I hadn't scrapped in a while, and you know, I just needed to get my bearings, my sea legs back so that I can get to crafting. And so I picked all these papers, and they all kind of coordinate, and there's all kinds of papers in there. There's new papers, there's older papers, there's papers that I have no idea how I got. And yeah, so I've printed these pictures out on my, I think I actually did these on my printer. I have a Canon Selfie, but I also have a regular photo, HP Photo Mate, I think it's called. HP Envy Photo, that's what it is. And it does pretty good when it wants to work. That's my only issue, the connection issue. Sometimes it just doesn't want to connect, and it's pretty annoying. So I just want to say thank you so much for stopping by. If you're coming from one of the other ladies' YouTube channels, I'd love it if you subscribed if you're not a subscriber. And if you are a subscriber, I'd like to say thank you. I really appreciate you sticking around. I know I have not been very what's the right word? I haven't been around. I have had some, you know, the holidays were rough, and we're quickly coming up to my mom's 1-year anniversary of her passing. And so not gonna lie, I've been struggling. So the paper I'm using is not exactly white. It's kind of like an off-white color, and it's a basil. Probably have had it for about 15 years, so who knows, maybe it was white one time. No idea. I'm gonna back it on this little scrap, and it's a Felicity Jane scrap. And I just want to take a moment to say thanks again. And if you are, sorry about that, I know I'm all over the place, but this is my first video that I'm editing in a while. Well, actually, I've already edited this video and voiceovered it once and uploaded it for January, and YouTube just didn't want to behave, and so now I'm just updating what I said, because a lot of what I said had to do with January. So we're now in February. So if you are not a subscriber, please click on the subscribe button. If you are a subscriber, thank you. If you want to get notifications when I have new content, which I have a lot of plans for new content, click on the bell below and you will get notifications on when I have new content up. Like I said, I apologize for being all over the place. It's been a while, and I recorded this video, I want to say the first week of January. So I kind of don't remember what I was doing. So at first I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll do like circles. I'll use my punches. And so I started cutting out all these all these circles. And then I was like, well, maybe we'll do hearts instead. So I started cutting hearts out of the circles I had already cut. So, you know, I didn't want to waste paper because, you know, it's not like I don't have a whole scrap bin. And then I was like, well, maybe I'll layer the hearts on top of the circles. So you'll see me struggle a bit, and I do play around with it, and eventually I figure it out, and I absolutely love how this page turned out, which will probably be one of the first pages in my new grandson, or my first grandson's scrapbook. So I'm going to take this pink polka dot paper, which I believe is the Felicity Jane paper, and I am going to, I think I cut about 3 inches, and then I'm going to do about 1 inch of this other scrap, which is really old, and I want to say it was like Teresa Collins, or I have no idea, but I loved that paper so much that I kept it. And now I'm backing it with this music paper, which beats me who made that one. Yeah, so I'm going back to cutting the hearts out, and I kind of thought I was going to do a up and down of hearts, and then I was like, halfway through, I mean, the good thing is I end up using everything, and I really love how it turned out, and you're going to get to see that. I don't do any mixed media or anything like that on this page because, you know, I wasn't really inspired very much. So I was just trying to get a page done just so I can hopefully get my mojo back. So if it's February 11th and I haven't gotten my mojo back. So if you've seen it, can you send it back? If you have any suggestions on how I can get back into it, you know, let me know. Let me know in the comments, because I take any type of suggestions seriously. So this is a Cocoa Vanilla vellum, and I have cut it out of I want to say that was like a 1.5 or 2 inch paper punch, and I cut them in half, and I'm going to make my own little border there that looks kind of like a scalloped edge. And this is a great way to use what you have, and you know, I love scalloped edges, and I don't have a punch that would make edges that big, so it was perfect to be able to use my circle punch, cut it in half, you know, not to waste paper, which you don't have to do. You can also make them, you know, just use the whole circle. And I just put a little glue on the edge and just stuck it down, and look how nice that looks. Definitely gives it a little bit of detail. So I flipped my paper, and all of a sudden it just kind of like, boom, I figured it out. So definitely going to be using the paper in this position, and I do end up moving the hearts further up and basically creating a banner. And I did pop some of the hearts up kind of to make it look like the hearts were, some were behind and some were in front, you know, kind of give it a little bit of interest and dimension. Now I'm just trying to figure out the colors, and so that I don't have two colors next to each other. And this paper, I love that paper, and I want to say that's a Paige Evans or Maggie Holmes paper from a couple years ago, and just love it. So as you can see, I've used a lot of my scraps that I pulled out for the most part. I think I don't end up with much left at the end. So here's where I'm like, okay, this is working. I'm liking this. And I always like to have like some sort of element hanging off the edges. As you see the two hearts on the ends, both are kind of hanging out off the page. I don't know, I just feel like it makes it look more realistic. I don't know. So here I'm inking my edges with some Distress Oxide and Hickory Smoke. Probably my hands down favorite ink. And since I've kind of stuck things down, I'm pretty sure I just stick my nail behind the papers and lift them just enough so that I can get some ink on my edges on the other layers of the paper. I don't normally put glue all the way at the edges of my paper, you know, for reasons of tucking stuff in, or as I just did, I didn't ink my edges, and now I was able to, you know, with lots of ease. I'm going to start gluing down my layers, and here is where I'm going to start gluing things down. And I'm just going to give it more of like a whimsical, like not straight across. Some of the hearts will be tilted up, some of them will be tilted a little bit down to the left, just to give it a little bit more interest. Okay, and here's where I'm popping some of them forward so they're in front. And I guess I don't pop them up. I thought I did. I'm sorry. But you can pop up some of the hearts so that they have a little more dimension. Maybe I do pop them up. I don't know. It's been a while. Okay, so now I am going to cut out a couple more circles. And I decided to do the scallop at the bottom because there was a lot of empty space at the bottom, and I really wanted to bring some of the blue down to the bottom to give myself a little more interest on the page. So again, I'm just going to grab my 3 circles, cut them in half, and see where we go with this. And with vellum, I know you can see the glue behind it, but I put a very small piece. I don't care that you see it. You know, I'm not creating a page for the Smithsonian Museum or any, you know, or the Queen of England. It doesn't matter to me if you can see the glue. Nobody's really going to say, oh, I see glue here. Like, how am I going to get it on the paper, you know? So don't get yourself, don't complicate things, because at the end of the day, we are our worst critics, and you know, you have to glue it down somehow. So what if you see the glue? I mean, obviously I don't want to put a big, you know, big snot, a glue snot on there, but you know, just a tiny bit of adhesive goes a long way. So I really like how that heart punched out in the circle looked. So I took one of the hearts that I had cut out and I like paper pieced it inside, and I really love how that looked. So now I'm going to take this scrap and I'm going to create I want to say it was maybe a 1/4 inch strip of paper. I'm going to cut 2 of them out, and I'm going to use that at the bottom of the page. And this is a great way to, when you don't have a piece of 12 by 12 paper, and you want to use something that you really like and you just don't have the piece, here's a great way to make it seamless. You can't even tell. You just line up the you know, the diagonal lines or whatever it is that you're doing, and just glue it down. No one could tell me that I cheated and used 2 pieces of scrap. So this is a great way to stretch what you have, use up what you have. And like I said, I was very happy with the outcome. And believe it or not, that little strip of paper just covered up my adhesive on the white and blue vellum. Nobody will notice that there was glue on there. So that's another way that you can cover things up by, you know, just layering and strategically placing your adhesive. So here I'm going to add more of that paper. And since nobody's going to see behind the picture, perfect cheat, nobody knows that I didn't go all the way across. And here we're pretty much getting close to the end of my layout. I'm thinking of bringing a title in and cutting a couple more hearts just to give myself a couple clusters. And I was thinking of doing that, but then I was like, oh, I'm not feeling it. So you'll see me move some of those hearts around. I felt like there was too much diagonal going, or horizontal rather, going on the layout. So that's where I changed it up and decided to eliminate a couple of those hearts. Not really eliminate, but move them from where they are. Again, forgot to ink my edges. So pulling up the paper a little bit just so I can get those edges inked and then just plopping it back up. Not everyone's into inking edges, but I feel like it really makes your paper pop. It gives definition to each layer so it doesn't look like paper stuck on top of paper. If you haven't ever tried inking your edges, try it. I've been doing it for probably 10 years. I'd say I'd probably ink 98% of my layouts. You'd be amazed at the difference that little bit of inking will do on a page. So here's where I'm sticking everything down and I'm like, I'm not really feeling this, but I still stick it down anyway because, you know, that's how I roll. And here's where I'm staring at it and saying, okay, now what? So I also have this little bin of just one-offs of ephemera, that stuff that gets left on my table or that falls out of the packaging. So I'm going through that right now and trying to figure out what I'm going to put on this page. And here it is. There's just a bunch of junk. Some stuff is, you know, broken. I actually now have gone through most of it and cleaned it out a bit. So it's no longer in that container. So I brought down this hello, and I've had this in my stash for who knows how long. I don't even know who makes it. And that little, I think that's a little Simple Stories ephemera. I put that up there, and I figured that would be perfect to do some journaling. And I'm just like fumbling through and finding little pieces. That's a sticker. I don't even know where it came from. So I would, no, maybe not. And like I said, a lot of the stuff in here, I don't even know how I came across it, why it's in this box. I have just been accumulating all this stuff. And there's nothing like complete in there. There's not a full package of anything. So I want to treat this box as my, also like my scrap package. And for this collab, I'm only going to use stuff that's in these containers. Other than alphabet that I might have to use, you know, thickers, any type of embellishments will come out of my scrap embellishments. So yeah, so like I said, I really like how it turned out. You're going to see me move the hello. I'm probably going to move those hearts from the left. And I'm getting very close to the end of this layout. I really appreciate you stopping by. Thanks a lot. Make sure you stop by and let everyone know that you came from my page. And check out everybody else's videos. You might get inspired. Definitely, I was inspired last month. I was bummed that this video did not upload, but you know what? It's going to work for February. And I will probably have a second February video on my page just as a bonus video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Stick to the end where you'll see close-ups of my layout as well as links to other videos that might interest you. Again, I apologize for being all over the place. It's been a rough few months, and I do plan on having lots of content coming up, starting with this video for the month of February. Thanks again. Have a great day.